Welcome to Nationwide on the network service of the Nigerian Television Authority. I am Lami Ali. In furtherance of sustained efforts at achieving a safer and more stable Nigeria for a sustainable future, the federal government is partnering more effectively with the Republic of Turkey to once and for all control and contain the current challenges of security bedeviling the nation. This came to light when President Muhammadu Buhari engaged his Turkish counterpart, Recep Tayyip Erdogan, on the margins of the third Turkey-Africa Partnership Summit. State House correspondent Adam Zambu has the report.
It was a warm welcome for President Muhammadu Buhari by his Turkish counterpart Tayyip Erdogan on arrival at Dolmabahce Palace for talks on areas of common interest. This is the second time the two leaders are meeting in less than 3 months, as President Erdogan was in Abuja late October this year, where several agreements were signed to deepen relations between Nigeria and Turkey. This latest engagement, shortly before the Turkey-Africa Partnership Summit, is to further concretize on the agreements reached and perhaps hasten delivery, especially on matters of security.
Turkey, of course, has also had its experience in fighting insurgencies and terrorism, and so willing to share experiences and also to look at the possibility of also providing weaponry. We hope to see the Nigerian military being able to acquire some weaponry in the fight against terrorism. The Navy, for instance, has some pending orders, with the Turkish military industrial complex, and so finalizing those agreements is also something that was on the agenda.
Discussions between the two leaders also centered on education, health, infrastructure, and most especially economy, in fulfillment of the Turkish leaders' promise to increase the volume of trade between Nigeria and its country to $5 billion.
It's clear from the engagements between the two leaders that the relationship between Nigeria and Turkey is deep. It's based on trust, based on proximity, based on history, and based on the willingness to have mutually beneficial engagements between the peoples of the two countries. Now, for me, I see prosperity. I see heightened activity between the two countries. I see greater partnership between the two countries. We are trying to bring together the business community between either here in Turkey or in Nigeria, for them to look at the definite incentives that exist on both sides in order for us to achieve the desired trade volume that the two presidents have outlined.
Both President Buhari and the Turkish leader promised to speedily endorse recommendations now being awaited from relevant ministers and officials from the two countries for implementation. From Istanbul, Turkey, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
It is no longer news that the president is in faraway Istanbul, the Republic of Turkey, on a 4-day official engagement. What some people might not be aware of, however, is that while away from home, the Nigerian leader clocked 79 this Friday. But did he celebrate? Only the State House correspondent Adam Sambu, who is on the president's entourage, can tell us.
President Muhammadu Buhari had no inkling whatsoever regarding what was in the offing as he steps out for the day's first official engagement. Happy birthday, Mr. President. Happy birthday to you. It is not in the president's character to celebrate birthdays, and therefore the ministers, some senior government officials, and presidential aides on his delegation had to lay an ambush. Given his military background, the president hates surprises, but seeing the familiar faces around, he could not help joining the party.
To have conspired to remind me how old I am. Okay, thank you very much for all that you have said. I assure you that I'm eager for 2023 to come. So that I can retire to my farm. Thank you very much.
Foreign Affairs Minister Geoffrey Onyama, who spoke on behalf of the presidential appointees, congratulated the president on the milestone achieved, wishing him many happy returns.
You have managed to travel to about 10 countries in the last 3 months. Not sure where you get that energy from, but clearly we can see that with time you're getting even stronger. As all around you are falling down, catching COVID, you have stood firm. COVID is even afraid to come anywhere near you. So we pray all together, Your Excellency, that Almighty God will continue to give you strength, to give you good health, to give you the great wisdom that you have, and wish you all the very, very best. And thank you for everything you have been, not just for us all individually, but for the nation and for Africa.
For me, it was an epoch-making event in my career as ambassador to have the opportunity of hosting the president during his birthday. Of course, we felicitate with the president, a great leader, an inspiring leader, and somebody who deeply cares about Nigeria.
So how does it feel working with the president at this time?
Yeah, it's the job is made easy because he provides the needed leadership, the needed direction. So it makes our jobs as diplomats very, very easy. You know, the objectives are clearly defined, resources are provided, and then, of course, the direction is aptly given.
All things being equal, President Muhammadu Buhari has one more birthday to celebrate as sitting president of Nigeria. From Istanbul, Turkey, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
The nationwide team wish Mr. President more glorious years. And the Northern Governors Forum has felicitated with President Muhammadu Buhari on his 79th birthday. Chairman of the Forum and Governor of Plateau State, Simon Bag-O Lalong, in a statement, described the President as a man of integrity and leader with patriotic zeal to develop the nation and secure the future for the younger generation. Lalong said the President has in the last 6 years confronted many challenging situations that sought to threaten the unity and peace of the country, such as insecurity, poverty, corruption, poor infrastructure, among others, with high successes. The forum also expressed the support by Mr. President and synergy with the federal government in dealing with some of the socio-economic challenges which are being substantially contained. The forum wished the President many more years of good health and wisdom and urged him to remain steadfast and committed to giving his best in the service of the nation. And in a continued effort to finding lasting solutions to the security challenge in the Northwest, State Directors of Security from the geopolitical zone met in Katsina to strengthen intelligence gathering and sharing. Governor Aminu Bello Masari, who declared open the fourth quarter zonal security conference, emphasized the need for the participants to adopt more strategies toward addressing the security challenges in some parts of the region. Awal Halliru reports.
The zonal conference of the state directors of security is for information sharing within the state they are serving, and also to chart a new course in order to prevail on security situation, especially in the northwest region of the country. The focus of the conference is for information sharing on addressing challenges of kidnapping, banditry, and other associated crimes. Special advisor on security to Katsina State Governor Ibrahim Ahmed Katsina urged the security operatives to develop a workable plan that will usher in a sustainable peace and security. Katsina State Governor Aminu Bello Masari, who traced the history of banditry in the north back to 100 years, called for determination and resilience from the security operatives to address the challenge.
So whatever it takes to bring the situation under control, before you can dominate the space, you have to have control.
Various stakeholders emphasized the importance of the forum towards evolving strategies that will assist in ensuring peace and security. Awal Halaru, NTA News.
Now, the African Development Bank has approved a loan of $170 million to finance digital and creative enterprise program in Nigeria. The Investments in Digital and Creative Enterprises program is a federal government of Nigeria initiative to promote investment in digital and creative industries. It is part of Nigeria's efforts to build back better, greener and more inclusively to create sustainable jobs for the teeming youthful population. The bank says the program targets more than 6 to 8 million Nigerians between the ages of 15 and 35 who are promoters of innovative, early-stage and technology-enabled startups or leaders of creative industry, micro, small and medium-sized enterprises, innovation hubs, accelerators, venture capital and private equity firms. The program is co-financed by Agence Française de Développement, AFDB, and the Islamic Development Bank, ISDB. Science and technology innovation have been described as panacea to transforming a resource-based economy. Permanent Secretary, Federal Ministry of Science, Technology and Innovation, Edith Sondiapan, stated this as the 7th Conference of University of Calabar Secretarial Staff. Paul Abel reports.
With an array of topics on digital forensic data, ICT and secretarial administration, participants here are ready to imbibe scientific ways towards achieving career goals.
Tell us of current innovation in the science of secretaryship so that we can imbibe those principles and improve our service delivery.
Without being updated, it's not good for any organization.
The keynote speaker, who itemized contributions of the Ministry of Science and Technology and Innovation in the areas of research, environment, health and security, commended the organizers for the timely conference.
Now modern world, science is the key. Digital economy, digital innovation are the basis of any breakthrough.
The theme of the conference, Evolving a Sustainable and Digital Career Path for Competitiveness and Productivity among Secretarial Staff and Allied Workers in the University System, is to ensure administrative professionalism. In Calabar, Paul Abel, NTA News.
And the government of Italy has pledged to boost agribusiness in Benue State to sustain its appellation, food baskets of the nation. Acting Ambassador of Italy, Tarek Chasley, stated this during a courtesy visit to Governor Samuel Utum in Makurdi. Charles Abba reports.
The acting ambassador of Italy said he witnessed the 2019 elections that returned the governor to the seat and described it as democratic. He lauded Benue State for its commitment in agricultural activities and contributing to food security in the country. He therefore expressed the determination of Italy to invest in agribusiness to boost food production and to generate employment in the state.
Agribusiness for us is very important, not in terms just, we don't want to export stuff. We want to support Nigeria and each of the governments of its 36 states that seeks to specialize in, to make this agribusiness revolution, to support them to be able to produce locally into international standards.
Governor Samuel Utum, who appreciated the passion Italy has for the state, appealed to the international community to help place premium on working towards tackling insecurity.
With your high level of technology, and dependable technology, especially in the agri value chain. Italy is a partner with Nigeria and the states to work with. We are looking forward for further strengthening of this relationship.
He stressed that Benue State is naturally endowed and has huge potentials for investment. In Makurdi, Charles Abba, NTA News.
Accelerated action migration experts across the sub-Saharan Africa say will assist in addressing issues of migration in the region. Elizabeth Omori reports that this is one of the resolutions reached as the 2021 National Migration Dialogue.
Ongoing conversations on migration across the globe have led to the emergence of platforms to strengthen measures around migration management, and one of such platforms is this national dialogue.
The foreseeable outcome of today's event is to have constructive and enriching discussions on the migration dialogue, to plan intentionally towards the 2022 migration year, to analyze and provide recommendations towards Nigerian migration governance structure.
Presentations by state and non-state actors focused on the impact of COVID-19 amongst migrants, border management, human trafficking, and labor.
The European Union is pleased to contribute to Nigeria's governance of the anti-trafficking and counter-smuggling policies through the Action Against Trafficking in Persons and Smuggling of Migrants, funded by the European Development Fund and implemented by FIAP.
This is a concrete expression of Switzerland's willingness to use migration as a lever for development in Nigeria. Its objective is to improve the working conditions of migrants, especially African workers, to the Arab states.
In sustaining their conversation, experts advocate strengthening of porous borders and provision of viable economic platforms. In Abuja, Elizabeth Omori, NTA News.
The civil society organizations remain key partners of government in developing and implementing all developmental programs. Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development, Sadia Umar Farouk, said this in a message to the 2021 National Dialogue on Migration in Abuja. Adebola Brooklyn Sunday reports.
Migration, both internal and international, no doubt has become an integral part of the current global issues. The convergence of these civil society organizations in the fight against human trafficking and irregular migration is to use dialogue as tools to foster governmental discussions in the current debate on migration policy issues.
This speaks volume of partnership and collaboration, demonstrative of the whole of government, whole of society approach, driving the new way of working.
Where you have problems, the moment you are able to think of dialogue, then it's as good as having problems solved.
The minister, represented by the Director General of NAPTIP, Fatima Waziri Aziz, said the collaboration with civil society organizations is a clear indication that Nigeria is in tune with international best practices and has the capacity of domesticating all international laws on migration.
You will have undertaken a comprehensive understanding and come up with actionable recommendations to the issue of mobility and people on the move from the perspective of our national development.
We have a powerful civil society organization platform capable of keeping the ball rolling on issues pertaining to national migration management.
This year's dialogue focuses on human mobility in the context of sustainable national development. Adebola Brooklyn, NTA News.
It's time to join Adeola in Lagos for the continuation of Nationwide. Hello, Adeola. It's over to you.
Thank you, Lami. In furtherance of its commitment to address traffic challenges with a view to enhancing economic activities across the metropolis, Lagos State Government has upgraded and rehabilitated network of roads on Victoria Island. Musa Toliat reports.
The network of roads upgraded and rehabilitated include Adeola Hopewell Street, Idowu Taylor Street, and Churchgate Road, all in Iru, Victoria Island Local Council Development Area of the state. Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu stressed that the completion of the projects is expected to improve interconnectivity with other roads in the area, reduce effect of vehicular traffic, and abate perennial flooding and erosion challenges that once characterized the axis.
So the completion of this road all Lagosians, promote massive social economic growth and reciprocate the support that we have enjoyed from this constituency in the past 3 years.
The road projects are captured in the Lagos State Government's Urban Regeneration Program for Victoria Island.
The overall target of the Sanwo-Olu's administration has always been to develop a robust infrastructure portfolio across the length and breadth of the state that ultimately allows for a competitive business environment. We are also Oliver's twist. We're looking forward to more developmental projects in this local government and in Etiosa as a whole.
Sanwo-Olu hinted that some road networks have been penciled down for rehabilitation in the second phase of the Urban Regeneration Program for Victoria Island, scheduled to commence soon. In Lagos, Musa Toliat, NTA News.
The National Inland Waterways Authority is distributing more than 2,000 life jackets to boat operators across jetties in Lagos as a way of instilling safety on the waterways. The move is also to showcase the standard life jackets for use, which must be replicated by operators. Michael Olalaye reports that there is a concerted effort to deploy navigational aid on the waterways.
Navigating through the coastal communities in Lagos is as simple as ABC. Increased awareness is gradually changing perception on safety. But regardless of this seemingly acceptability, Kende Jude still has his reservation about water transportation. Forget the jetties and ferries, his concern revolves around the life jackets.
You see, the life jacket is torn. It's torn already. So by the time the ferry sinks, one just capsizes, and you will take maybe the lifesaver is actually the one lifesaver, but actually the lifesaver is even the one drowning the person.
Changing this narrative is key to the mandate of the National Inland Waterways, based on research that life jackets has shown to be effective in reducing 50% deaths caused by drowning. The Lagos area manager says the distribution of the life jackets is to support users and lessen cases of boat mishaps.
We have a lot of fake life jackets, sewn life jackets. This is one why it's discouraging. Life jackets are expiring life. It has weight. So all these are put into consideration in making this. And we want to give them this so that they can use it as sample on what to be using.
The initiative is part of the agency's end-of-the-year sensitization campaign aimed at enforcing safety on the waterways.
This particular standard we will not compromise. We expect from the beginning of the year 2022, all boat operators should adhere to our safety standard and make sure that life jacket they carry on board are to our standard.
The approach is also being backed up with the planned installation of directional buoys covering 24 kilometers from Marina to Ikorodu and another 68 kilometers from CMS to Badagry. When completed, it will offer directional aids for drivers not too knowledgeable about these routes. In Lagos, Michael Olalaye, NTA News.
It's now time for us to go on our first break, but when we return, Abubakar in Maiduguri will be giving us stories from that zone. Do stay with us.
Thanks for staying with us on Nationwide up to this moment, and this is NTA Maiduguri Zonal Network Center. Let's move on now. Ending inequalities have been adjudged to be the best avenue of eliminating HIV and AIDS, as well as other diseases in the society. This was the central message at an event organized by World Health Organization and Borno State Agency for the Control of AIDS and Malaria, among other partners, in commemoration of this year's World AIDS Day. Yagum Subukar completes the story.
HIV has continued to be a major health concern that affects millions of people across the globe, which consequently affects national growth. Worried by this growing global challenge, 13th December was set aside to raise awareness and commemorate World AIDS Day. This roundtable, put together by World Health Organization and Borno State Agency for Control of AIDS and Malaria, Bosakam, among other partners, is therefore a deliberate move to rub minds and profile lasting solutions to the menace of AIDS in Borno and environs. Permanent Secretary, Borno State Ministry of Health, Dr. Mohamed Aminu Guluze, representative of WHO and other speakers at the event, dwelt extensively on the need for sustained sensitization to end AIDS by 2030, according to Executive Secretary Bosakam. Dr. Barkindum Saidu Suppressing the virus through routine tests, treatment and community engagement, as well as massive support from Borno State government and development partners, has been the secret behind the successes recorded so far in the state. Chairman House Committee on Health, Dr. Maina Mustafa Garbu, assured of the legislative arm of government's determination to fight inequality and achieve zero tolerance against infectious diseases by 2030 through the facilitation of passage of premarital testing bill in Borno. In Maiduguri, Yagum Subukar, NTA News.
Away from health, we focus our attention on some humanitarian issues now. 3,500 returnee households taking refuge at Shetima Ali Mongunu IDP's camp in Maiduguri, the Borno State capital, have received assorted food items courtesy of National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA. Director General NEMA, Ahmed Mustafa Habib, directed the distribution of the commodities towards fast-tracking the ongoing resettlement program of Borno State government. Here are more details of the story.
Ina kokari in tsaya ga kahuna in noma in yi kiyo in Allah yadda
ba abin da babanmu ba an kula da mu komai an yi mana wannan tallafin na nema shine kwarin gwiwar mu dan zamu je mu kama sana'a mu kama noma zamu ci wannan abincin domin an tallafa mana matukar gaske.
These are some of the beneficiaries of the food distribution program of NEMA, describing how the intervention will ease their relocation back home, considering the level of devastation experienced due to Boko Haram crisis. All the IDPs camps slated for closure across Borno are expected to benefit from the food assistance of the National Emergency Management Agency.
We are particularly concerned, first and foremost, with what they are going to eat in a sustainable manner.
NEMA will continue supporting the IDPs even as they return back to their ancestral homes.
The intervention is being carried out in collaboration with Borno State Emergency Management Agency towards ensuring that genuine beneficiaries are not left out.
They need to be supported with this kind of food support, pending when they can be able to cater for themselves before the rainy season.
Each household had received twice the quantity of food items usually being given by NEMA. You're on to Nationwide on Africa's window to the world. It's now time to return to Lami in Abuja for the next set of stories for us this evening. So, Lami.
Thank you, Abubakar. The federal government's efforts to end misconceptions around COVID-19 vaccination has received a boost, with the Sultan of Sokoto, Saad Abubakar III, promising support of northern traditional leaders to strengthen the campaign and get more Nigerians vaccinated. This was at the fourth quarter review meeting of Northern Traditional Leaders Committee in Abuja. Oluseyi Adiapo has details.
Vaccinating 55 million residents of Nigeria by the end of January 2022 was the federal government's target, with sufficient vaccines to cover this mission. Yet the country has only administered the jab to less than 9 million Nigerians with the first dose of COVID-19 vaccine. Debunking the recent news evolving around him on the internet, the Sultan of Sokoto linked the problem of vaccine hesitancy to misconceptions and fake news.
Because we really want to go all out to convince people about the COVID-19 pandemic and how to tackle it. We need to be much, much stronger than we were as we were fighting polio.
Vaccines are now available. It is now a question of people identifying where is the nearest place where they can actually get these vaccines. We believe that we'll be able to meet all of the targets that we've set as long as people also take the opportunity, realizing that we have now vaccinated over 8 million Nigerians.
The Federal Ministry of Health should try as much as it could to make 2022 crisis-free. The government has promised that they don't want to fail us. So what we are saying is ensure that the commerce is adjusted and put into the budget.
That issue of skipping, that issue of consultancy appointment, it's already decided by the court. So I think government must find ways and means of making sure that those agreements are actually implemented so that we can reduce friction and also issues of industrial dispute in education and health sectors.
The labor movement is also calling on political leaders not to neglect governance ahead of the 2023 general elections. Still on workers' welfare, the welfare of workers remains topmost priority of management of the Nigerian Television Authority, the NTA. This was the reassuring message of the Director General Yakubu Ibn Muhammad to the Radio, Television, Theatre and Arts Workers Union of Nigeria, RTAU, at its 2021 Staff Day celebration. Ali Karwa reports that distinguished members of the public, exemplary members of the union and some hard-working staff of the NTA were among those honored at the event.
In another long and windy year, no thanks to COVID-19, which continues to complicate everyday living, it was therefore a refreshing experience for staff of the Nigerian Television Authority, especially members of the Radio, Television, Theatre and Art Workers Union of Nigeria, RTAU, who took some time out to mark its 2021 Staff Day celebration. Director General of the Nigerian Television Authority, Yakubu Ibn Muhammad, found it a good time to appreciate the union for its support to the authority, while fostering unity between members of the union and its sister Nigerian Union of Journalists, NUJ.
The union does not run an organization, but the union points to the right way to go, because the union is the pulse of the staff. If you listen to the union, you know what the union wants, you know how the leadership of the union think, then you have a good feel of the pulse of the staff. And once you have a good feel of the pulse of the staff, you'll be able to work in harmony with members of staff.
High points of the annual event was presentation of awards of excellence to some partners of the union for their invaluable contributions to media development, and some members of the union and staff of the NTA for their outstanding performances within the year.
It goes across the NTA staff, and that is why you see this kind of results. And they extended it to us outside. So it indicates a real good leadership, and it motivates people no matter how little.
I must say, first I feel surprised, but I feel very appreciated, and I want to thank RTAU for the recognition. I must also appreciate the entire management and staff of NTA International, because I've enjoyed a lot of support and cooperation from them.
It's exciting to be recognized for the job we do. Most importantly, this is an encouragement and motivation for us to even do more.
There was also a workshop on entrepreneurship and empowerment in Abuja. Alika Okpanachi, Arua, NTA News.
Now, the commitment to achieve equality and fight against gender-based violence has continued to triumph in the society, but the approach adopted by the NTA remains top-notch. This is coming from the Women's Rights Initiative, as the group recognizes the contributions of the Director General of the NTA, Yakubu Ibn Muhammad. Abdul Malik Hassan reports.
A right to live, a right to be respected and provided equal opportunity to thrive is the goal of every woman and girl child. And for the Women's Rights Initiative, providing such space is the goal. Here is a recognition of those who stand firm against gender inequality and the fight against rape and rapists.
Women, they are facing rape, violence in their houses, sometimes emotionally, and the rest. So we are calling on the general public, the individual stakeholders, to please help to say no to violence, say no to rape.
A seasoned broadcaster is recognized. Director General of the Nigerian Television Authority, Yakubu Ibn Muhammad, whose explicit commitment earns him an award of administrative excellence.
The DG has been recognized for his role in